Welcome back to the podcast, the QORcast, the greatest podcast in the world. And today, we have a rare, very rare, but a good rare, W by Riot Games themselves. Esports is saved. Valorant is saved. And to say it all that, we're not memeing. It's actually saved. We are in the presence of a revolution.
A revolution.
A change in time where Valorant Esports is now going to be open bracket.
Yep.
Ditching
As
the
you know.
franchising.
Yep. So, obviously, those of you who've been watching Valorant since the beginning, you will know that some of the biggest teams, such as, for example, Optic Gaming, also came up through open qualifier tournaments. And, since the franchising system has been introduced, for those of you who don't know how it works, is that there's a couple of orgs that get franchised and they get into their, tier 1. And the way that other orgs had to ascend to get into tier 1 was usually through challengers, which usually there would have been an Ascension tournament, which we don't have this year.
Yeah.
Because this year was more like an experimental thing. They were figuring out, it's like the transition to next year. But basically, tier 2 orgs, they play for the Ascension tournament, and whoever wins Ascension, they get a 2-year contract into VCT as a partner team. And then you can get relegated later, it depends on your success. But now we don't need that. No more Ascension, no more tier 2. It's just open qualifiers. So, what that means? I'm talking to you. You can make it with all your 4 friends and whatever else you got going on. Yeah. But, anyone can play now. And honestly, that's really healthy for the esport because there's a lot of talent that doesn't get a chance at this. But open qualifiers just means that there's not really any limitation. On top of that, they've reduced the age limit from 18 to 17.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit more lenient. But big change is coming, and they're gonna be there's no more regional leagues either. They got rid of that entirely.
Yeah.
So what they're doing now is just a lot of tournaments, like a lot. And they're calling them cups. Now, I don't know exactly how. I don't think they've given the details on how.
They haven't given the details. No.
Yeah, they haven't given details on how exactly they're weighted, like what their significance is. But from my understanding, they're replacing the regional leagues with regional cups. And, depending on which teams win X amount of cups or get whatever placements, that's what determines whether you can enter into Masters or Champions. There are still franchise teams, but it doesn't work the same way as it did this year, where this year, your franchise teams would get all your benefits and you'd be the only teams in tier 1 that are, there's no non-franchised org in tier 1. But next year, as I said, it's open qual, and the franchise teams that do exist will get some, I believe, monetary benefit. They'll get their capsules. I don't know yet whether or not the non-franchise teams will get capsules. I don't imagine they would, because I guess that's kind of hard to figure out. But because literally anyone can qualify.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of information they gave us, but there's still more questions to it. The only thing we do know right now, yes, like he said, it's regionals. So it seems like South America, so for the Americas at least, it seems like it's really split into 3 regions, which is basically North America. It's also going to be split into South America and Brazil. Brazil is getting its own region, like how other esports do it also. EU, which is funny enough, Turkey's getting its own region. They saw how dominant Turkey was, and they're like, fuck it, we're giving them their own region. MENA, which is the Middle East.
VCT EMEA is a real thing now.
Yeah, MENA, Turkey, and also Europe. That's going to be like 3 regions. That's going to be under Europe, if you want, or EMEA for the most part. Then Asia, they're getting South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, and all that. So, and China's getting its own region, so like all that stuff. So it's good because we, for the past, I don't know, how long has this franchise been? 3 years?
Something like that, yeah.
We've heard nothing but, oh, he has visa issues. Oh, he can't make it because of visa issues. Oh, this person, our best player can't make it because of visa issues.
I will say that you know, on this visa issues topic, there are going to be a lot more cities visited. So visa issues might still be a thing
Yes,
because
but
you're going
at
to be
least on
going
the
literally
regional level.
everywhere.
At least not in the regional level. Hopefully, it
Yeah,
won't be
you'd
on the
hope
regional.
so.
Hopefully, so far, when it comes to the actual regional level, we'll experience much less when it comes to what is considered a what's gonna happen with visas and visits and all that. But that is also a good question. So with Leo, he stated that it's going to be about 16 cities. So a total of 20 tournaments with 16 cities, competition back to home screen, sensational revenue accessibility, revamp. Wait, hold up. Something just popped up on my screen. All right, back to normal. Um, everything is a tournament, like, yeah, NBA Cups. So, what the fuck? So I popped up, Outlook just popped up on my screen. All right, and
Oh, good,
back.
bro.
So there's gonna be like a lot, right? He dumped a lot of information on us, but we do not know. The only thing we do know is I know a lot of org owners, they're getting a lot of meetings. So there's meetings that's gonna be happening, talking about it. Um, in a sense, this kills tier two, but it also revives the esport as a whole. So in the senses, this is good because now it's not gonna be a team can't just constantly be shit and then they get sustain they get money for it just being shit and being the bottom of the league, right? Now there's
Yep.
actual stake to it. Like, okay, you want to build a team? All right, cool. Now this team has to actually like produce, right? Um, there's a lot to it, and this is how all esports should be. Again, esports should always be an open bracket. Anybody should be able to join. Franchising does not work. We said this we said this when it came out. We said franchise is going to kill the league. It's not going to be fun. There's no underdog stories. There's nothing to it. Franchise does not make the league better. It's a thing. It's common beyond everything. Esports should not never is never a franchise. Esports is an open bracket because the stories and the viewerships and the underdog stories is where it comes. And yes, it took them 3 years to figure that out. But
Better late than
unfortunately,
never.
they tried something. It failed, in my opinion. I feel like you kind of really hurt the esports scene in the sense like you hurt it a lot to the sense where like people were just retiring because like imagine your season's ending after 10 games. Like that's pathetic in a sense, right? So the fact that they're actually improving upon it and showing that hey, like this is gonna be an open bracket, it's really really good. Again, this is only the initial. This is what Leo said right now. They only tweeted about this. It's in everything's a tournament. Now, how will orgs come back to this? I don't think a lot of orgs are jumping the ship right away. I think they kind of want to see, they want to get more information before jumping the gun, right? I mean, recently we saw FlyQuest. They just recently entered tier two, right? It's
See,
pretty
now,
interesting.
but there's a point there. There's a point to be made. In 2027, the partner teams are going to be revised, meaning that not every one of the teams right now that is franchised will be franchised next year.
Yes.
And a lot of tier 2 orgs are on the review, I'd imagine.
Yes.
So, you know, we don't know what orgs we'll be seeing next year in the franchise ecosystem, but I think that is a bit of an incentive for orgs to at least show some interest in coming into Valorant. Now, I would imagine we see a fair amount of tier 2 orgs like Shopify Rebellion or M80 go into tier 1, or not tier 1, but become a franchised org, maybe even core, who knows?
We have been in the league for about 3 years. We just want to split, which is great. You know, so
We are factually the best in the region right now.
factually, yes. Currently, this stage not the best, but
Listen, we don't talk about. Listen, we've made our mark, okay? We're just giving others a chance.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Stage isn't over, so you know we could go back to back. Who knows? But I think yeah, it was because there was a lot of detail with when they said to revise, right? A lot of it was business practice. How is your business? How are you going to sustain a bit? And just what they're revising is can your org produce enough content and revenue and also bring a lot of eyes to the sport is what they're going to say. With that, it's basically saying, do you guys have money? to sustain your org. I think that's really what it comes down to. If I'm gonna be real honest with you guys, they just want to know who has money. So the Sentinels, the unfortunately Furia, the Loud, they got.
Hey,
they
Furia this year is good, man. Furia this
year is good. I will say, but again, it's a lot of orgs.
Those are our boys up there.
A lot of orgs that already have pre-existing money and a lot of sponsorships and a lot of investment in it are going to be looked at favorably due to the fact that they also just bring a lot of viewership. They got fans, right? Brazil, massive, one of the biggest regions for esports, easily, right? And so of course you're going to have to accept a lot of Brazilian orgs, right? And franchising, like these noticeable big franchising Brazilian orgs, they're going to be wanting to get in. They bring a lot of viewership. They bring a lot of fans. Yes, were they bad? Literally 90% of the time they were in franchising? Of course they were shit. But they brought
Did they
the
all
viewership.
suck until, they brought Americans onto the team?
Exactly.
Or,
now
people
this
from Kyrgyzstan? Or...
Hey, all I'm going to say is, if you're going to be in regional, there's no visa excuse. Now you gotta now you actually have to be good to qualify for Masters. So This is like the whole thing now, where if a team qualified for Masters, they actually deserved it. There's no, we were playing with a sub, or we didn't have a sub this split, we'll come back next split, and all that, blah, blah, blah. There's no excuse next year. It's if you're shit, you're shit. There is no excuse next year. It's going to be interesting because, like a lot of tier 2 orgs that have been in the league for years now, already here. I know TSM recently backed out, but I mean, I don't know. They're too busy making AI Minecraft videos, so I don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. But for example, again, FlyQuest, they recently came in. I mean, FlyQuest has always been that org that really supports the tier 2 and really invests.
They've been in GC for a long time.
Yeah, they've been in GC for like
which is not tier 2 technically,
years,
but it's
Valorant, right? I feel like FlyQuest's been in GC for 3 years. Like again, they're very grassroots heavy, right? And I think FlyQuest, if I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if FlyQuest was one of the teams that got franchising next year. They are just...
No, they're definitely up there on the, 100%. On the list, for sure.
They have a good reputation. They also have a lot of backing to it. They seem to be very invested. Again, they were in GC. I believe they're still in League, if I'm not mistaken. They're also in other esports. They host tournaments. They're a very big org. To be surprising enough, FlyQuest is a very big org with very sustainable amount, right?
Yep.
And it's really interesting because it's gonna also come down to like, that's what it is. It's reputation. What do you have? What have you left? If I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be very hard for QOR to get into franchising. Would I love it? I would.
Hey,
it would really make. I start watching Valorant again. I start watching Valorant religiously again, right? If we got into franchising, and that
who can help us get into franchising? You, who's watching the video right now, leave a like and share this video and every single one of our other videos. We need our engagement up, okay? So, if you happen to be a QOR fan, do us a solid. I don't think we can shout out each and every one of you, but you're here with us.
Shit, I'll make a whole video just shouting out every single one if we make it to franchising. I'll just make it. Hey, it's gonna be like a 2-hour long video shouting out and name my name. Shit, I'll do it if we get into franchising. But I mean, again, hey, this is good. This is healthy. I think it's important to understand because like you look at other esports, like you can make fun of like Apex Legends, you can make fun of like other orgs or CS and all that, but there is sustainable to it. There's like real reason to play in it because you get to play in the big stage, you get to play for the big prize pools. There's EWC, Apex. Like for example, I've been watching the esports scene is very much alive over there. So like there's a reason why it's alive because it's very much grassroots. There's very much a lot of people playing that game, and to have a lot of tournaments. If you can have like a tournament every other week in Valorant, there's no reason why more orgs want to be invested into it. Yes, you can talk about the game as much as you want, the actual game core, but if we're talking about only the esports side, this is a very big win. I think Riot really doing this is amazing. Making this open bracket.
I did also see that there's a conversation going on, and I want to touch on it a bit, but I did also see that Riot seems to be open to third-party tournament organizers, meaning Blast, that hosts the CS tournaments. And also, I believe someone tagged Leo Ferry in a post that they would like to see a Valorant event hosted by DreamHack, and they said they would be interested in that. Surprisingly enough,
Yeah. No, Blast is
now
one of those TOs that are like massive in CS at least. Like they're a very very good T. Like they have a lot of backing. They're if anybody watches like a Blast CS tournament, I need you guys to watch a Blast CS tournament. The production in that is insane.
what I will say though is that Riot production is not bad by any means.
It's not bad. But like you see some of these third-party organizers, they just take it to another level. Say what you want about the CS scene, but the TOs there, God, like they are amazing. ESL, right? DreamHack, Intel DreamHack, like all that, Blast, like all that, insane production. Production is out the roof. You see a very much care to it, right? And if you put that into Valorant, I think that's what Valorant needs, right? I think the issue with Valorant right now, it feels very much corporate. Like if you understand what I'm trying to get at, it feels very much there's not really much like creativity in the sense of what I'm trying to say. It seems like I want having third-party organizations do it. I think, in my opinion, how Valve runs CS, the ranking system over there, is what Valorant should do. So they have their own. Valve has their own VAR rankings, and depending on how well you do in these third-party tournaments, you get ranked in their points, right? And then they have the big major, which is the championship, and then depending on how many points or what's your ranking in the top 10 in the world, you get an automatic invite to it instead of playing a tournament to qualify to it, right? And what I think is, if we are accepting more third-party organizers, we should accept it where there is actual reward to it. Not just a prize pool, not just bragging rights, but there's actual reward to it. So for example, QOR wins like 4 tournaments, right? 4 tournaments are considered like third-party, right? And their ranking is really high. We're in the top 10 in ranking in the teams in the world because how well we're doing from third-party tournaments. We get an automatic qualifications to either Masters or Champions. And I think it should be something like that, where you should be rewarded for competing constantly in these third-party tournaments. Either it's online or if it's in person, depending on how Riot wants to do, that's what I think we should do.
Yep, I agree. I mean, in general, these are steps in the right direction for Valorant. You know, it's kind of helping the ecosystem, the longevity of the esport. People weren't a fan of franchising, and you know, it's pretty understandable why. I think it's just the orgs that were franchised that enjoyed franchising the most. Everyone other than that, not really a big fan. You know,
Yeah, no.
you see a lot of players get kicked out of tier 1 who just can't find their footing again when they're more than capable. And, you know, that just kind of ends their career there. So being able to just, you know, get back in yourself, if you still have that drive, that motivation in you to prove that, you know, you can still be the best, it's just great for the overall player base in terms of, you know, the professional scene.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think because you also like, it was the whole point of your season, your year could be over in like 10, 15 games, right? It's that situation where what is the point of being a pro if your season could end in 10, 15 games, right? This is saying that you don't qualify for Masters. You don't qualify for Champions. It's very demotivating. It makes it like, yes, it's upping the stakes, but it's to the point where there's no room for development. The same 5 never stay each split. It's to the sense where, okay, if we don't qualify for a split, a roster change is happening. So that's hurting it. Not only with the chemistry of the team, but it's hurting the viewership, right? A lot of people could love the some player, but because, oh, we didn't make it one split, he's getting cut, right? We're not getting these 2-year-long squads anymore, right? I think G2 was really the only one that really had that. Midas Baby Babe being before getting on. They were like together for like a little over
Fnatic had it too.
Huh? Fnatic, yeah,
Fnatic was together
Fnatic
for a while
also,
too.
Fnatic
Yeah.
also, but
And
like,
Paper X.
yeah. Like there's like like again 2 to 3
It's very
orgs.
few.
Yeah, like but we don't get that anymore in Valorant. Like you
No.
never see the same 5 really like you know what? This year, let's run it. Let's R5 as a core. Let's run it and see what we could do. We can either improve or we can upload. But let's take it. Let's take our time with it. Let's really grow together, and maybe the chemistry could be better. Because again, sometimes chemistry takes a while to click. It's not easy in every esport. We're like, oh, you know, let's just get the 3 best players or the 5 best players and just put them in a team and that's it. Like, no. I think it needs time to grow and a time to develop, time to flourish. I think that's also the reason why I feel like Valorant Esports is hard to watch, right? There's too much stake with very little room to develop. And with franchising, it kind of killed that motivation to really get a group of guys to really sit down and like really try every tournament. How do I feel about this? I think this is great. Again, having open bracket for everything is great. The only issue is this seems a little too good to be true. I feel like there is going to be a caveat. Again, we don't know the whole story. They are saying what they're going to do, but how it's going to be implemented, how are we qualifying for these tournaments, who's allowed to play in these tournaments, what's going on, it's very rough, right? Because you can't just say, all right, the team with the most money, you're getting in. But it's like no one's a fan of them. Like, they're always shit every year. You know, it's going to be the whole franchising situation. I do hope that they actually go true to their word and say, hey, we are really making this an open bracket. Like, for example, a lot of tier 1 teams and a lot of tier 2 teams right now, you both are going to play in the same tournament. How I think they should do it, in my personal opinion, anybody's in tier, okay, they can revise the partner teams. Cool, that's fine. Get the partner teams, make that happen, go ahead. But who's ever in tier 2 should be automatically qualified to that open tournament. They should, because, for example, like you can say whatever. You can say FlyQuest, YFP, Core, Sad Esports. They're tier 2 teams. They've been competing for, not minus FlyQuest, but we've been competing for about 3 years now. Where is our respect when it comes to it? We stuck to it. The orgs lost money. We're like, it was a net negative. Like it's not a secret. It's a net negative being in tier 2, right? There's no money to be gained when you're in tier 2 unless you qualify for tier 1. So it's a year-long gamble to see, okay, maybe let's get into it. So I think, if I'm going to be honest with Riot, to really show their care for the org and show care for the scene, they should allow the tier 2 orgs to qualify for tier 1. And at least, not tier 1, but to let them qualify or play in the open brackets that's going to be happening.
No, they're allowed. Anyone's allowed to. You can get a 5-stack and you can sign up for them.
See, but that's the thing. I don't know if that's going to be really the case. I feel like there's going to be a caveat to this. I don't think it's just going to be allowed. Really, anybody can play. I feel like there's going to be like a requirement. It doesn't seem to, it seems too good to be true. Like, genuinely, I don't think they're going to go through that way. I'm calling it right now. There is no way they're going to get like 5 random people that play ranked together and you're going to be playing in Masters. I don't believe that. Not one bit
I mean,
in my
BBL
body.
did it.
I don't believe...
Longshim did it.
Who?
BBL and Longshim, they came up through Premier.
Yeah, but the thing is, they got picked up by an org almost right away. There's no way.
That's another point. What happens to Premier now?
I think Premier is dead. There's no way. Like, what else do you play?
Yeah, so does it get removed from the game or what?
That's my thing, right? Like, what do you do with Premier? Because like now, okay, if you're basically killing tier 2, now tier 1 and tier 2 are together. This Premier, is that another qualifier to go to open bracket? Are they doing it? Like, what's the requirement now? They gave us a lot, but now we have even more questions. Again, what I know is that a lot of org owners are going to be meeting up with Riot soon. There's a lot of meetings going to be happening. There's a lot of qualifications happening. But I do think it's a lot going on, because I don't know. There's something fishy about this. I love the idea. Open bracket is great. I really, really do. This is great by Riot, but I think they're going to fuck it up somehow. There's going to be a way where they're going to do something where it's going to fuck it up. I feel like I know, I just know in my body there's gonna be like some bullshit rule where it's gonna be like, why are you adding this? I just know from the bottom of my heart there's gonna be something about it where there's like, no way, there's no way this is so good. Riot finds a way, but I could be wrong. I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it. Let me know what you guys think about the open bracket. Let us know what's coming down below. Do you do it? Are you guys gonna start competing maybe next year? Who knows how many pros are coming back from retirement or all that stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Thank you guys for watching.
Make sure you check out the Core shop for any of our merch. Follow us on Twitter and all of our socials to keep up with any of the gaming news. And our Core Valorant team plays again on the 13th at 4 p.m. PST against Alliance Guardians. Check out the watch party at the Core Gaming Twitch. And make sure if you buy any of our merch, our glorious, amazing looking merch, make sure you use code QORcast at the discount, at QORcast at the checkout for a 10% discount. And paying 90% is better than paying 100%, so why would you not use it?
True.
It's just facts.
I appreciate it.
The numbers don't lie.
I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. Got a big match this week. We'll be watch partying it. We watch party every match we go to, so
every single one.
On Twitch. We're always watching and supporting, but thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate you guys. Goodbye.